So in this video, I'm gonna show you how I turned this stock shock mount into this custom shock mount. Everything's welded and molded in here on the left side. The only thing left to do over here is drill the actual holes. And for this back hole, I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. That way I can weld in the nut. So it'll be a little bit recessed right there. So I found these extensions on eBay. They are just weld-in shock mounts. They're universal, but they're actually labeled for a Jeep. I'll put the link in the description. They're pretty stout. They're 3/16 thick. So I'm gonna get working on this right side here so I can show you exactly what I did to make that. So the only thing I've done to this side is cut off this lip. There was a lip just like this that followed all the way through that was welded onto the frame. So I had already cut that lip off. So the first thing I'm gonna do is weld here on both sides, inside and out. On both sides, in and out. Then we're gonna cut off this lip here on both sides. Obviously take that off so we can slide this right over it and go ahead and get it welded in. So let me weld this up first and I'll bring y'all back. I got these welded in and out now. Kind of see in there. So everything's welded. I got this cut right here. So now we can go ahead and slide our piece over. I got that measured already, so we're good on our measurements. So I'm gonna get this tacked in now. Basically, we're just gonna plate all three sides. So we're gonna plate it over here, plate it on this side, and then just plate the top, weld it all together, and then mold everything in. So there that is. If you guys wanna run extended shock mounts, you can use these same mounts and you can bring them out as much as you want, really. So just remember, the further you bring them out, you know, you're not gonna be able to run a typical Y-bone. You would either have to run a wishbone that mounts on the top of the rear end, or a pitbull Y-bone that also mounts on top of the rear end. So since I'm going to use just a regular Y-bone that mounts on the right side of the rear end, you can't extend these too far out because then it'll hit the shock when you lower it. So just keep that in mind. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these plates out and get them fitted, tack this in, and then I'll bring you guys back. So I got the first plate in. I just traced the other side here with cardboard, and then there it is. I traced that on a piece of steel and cut it out. Just cut it out with the angle grinder. So I'm gonna do the same for this top piece. I'm just gonna do a cutout here with cardboard and then trace that on the steel and get that tacked in. Top piece is in. I got this inside plate in. Now I'm gonna go ahead and weld everything so I can go ahead and mold it. So that's the goal right there. Got everything molded in now. Everything's looking really good. I went ahead and made the holes for the shocks themselves. I just started them with the drill bit, a small hole with the drill bit, and then did the rest with the step bit. So that's done. It's looking good. So now I'm gonna go ahead and paint this so I won't get any surface rust, and I'm gonna start the install on the Y-bone. So I got everything laid out over here. So here's a Y-bone I'm gonna be running. This is just a type that mounts on the right, on the stock location on the rear end. Easy. I've had this box in my attic for over a year, which is that box. I just opened it today and I realized it sent me two different mounts. So this is an original one. You can see it has the indentation up here. And this is an aftermarket one. I do have one of each. It's kind of late to warranty that now, but I do have one of each. but they're not chrome, so I'm gonna have to chrome plate one of those so it can match. Yeah, but here it is. Here's the shocks. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this stuff mounted. All we gotta do to mount the wishbone is make these holes on that side, the identical 3 holes over here. So I'll mount one, I'll show you that right now, and then we'll mark the holes on that side and just drill them out. Well, look what I just found out. These holes do not match the frame. So you can see this is a lot longer. Good thing is I kept my original one, so I'm gonna chrome plate this one. And I'm gonna use it today so I can fit this wishbone. Yeah, just thought I'll share that with you. So I got the wishbone marked up here. So if you look inside the hole, I just marked that with a pick. You can see they're kind of scratched up inside the hole. So now I'm gonna take this off and go ahead and drill my holes. Here's a better look at the marks I made. So now I just gotta make sure I drill right in the center of them. All right. Everything on. Looks like everything went on without hiccup. The only issue I did run into was this bracket, that the holes didn't line up to the original holes. But I guess if you're adding another one, you can just make the holes wider, or longer, I should say. This one's too long. But good thing is that I had saved my original one, so I'm just gonna go ahead and chrome plate that one. That way I'll have a matching set. But the shocks are on, they're looking good. Everything went on without hiccup. So another thing I would like to note is these nuts, these bolts here. As you can see, they're a little oversized. So they're 2 inches in length, and you want to have these a little bit longer just in case you need to shim these brackets. So these came shimmed from the factory, so you can get the correct pinion angle. And you know, since this car is going to have hydraulics or adjustable suspension, there's a sweet spot for the pinion angle. So sometimes you'll have to shim these brackets. This is the piece that goes to the rear end, and obviously you have all of this adjustment here to find your pinion angle. And your correct pinion angle, you want to find that at ride height. So every car is different. It could be the exact same car, but every car is different. They all have a sweet spot when it comes to hydraulics. So this right here will help you find that sweet spot. And if you have to shim it, you know, you want to make sure you have these bolts just a little bit longer. That's it. Other than that, we're done here, done with the shock mounts, wishbone install. Now all I have left to do on this frame is the bottom on the metalwork. So I'm gonna flip this frame over and finish up the bottom, and we'll be done with the metalwork. That'll be the last part to this frame as far as the metalwork goes. When I do flip the frame over, I'm gonna plate this shock mount here in the bottom, since you're gonna see that, and you can see it extends all the way out. They don't extend that far, so it's not gonna hit the frame like it is right now. But I'm gonna plate it here, and then I'm just gonna make like a half moon right here, half moon shape, just to allow the same shape here of the shock. Doesn't need it, but it'll make it look pretty. So that's a wrap for this video. Got some shock mounts, wishbone, all that's done. Now I'm just gonna flip this thing over and finish up the metalwork.